With the Loki series behind us, many questions have risen about what is his continuation of the story between the first season and the already announced second season. Well, we got the information about him joining the Sorcerer Supreme, Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, in his second solo movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Thus, today we're gonna talk about just that, and how he fits within the story, and more importantly, why. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Recap.
It's easy.
I know it all. And I've seen it all.
From what we've seen and everything we've learned, we can easily see just how big of an effect Loki's Season 1 finale will have on the MCU going forward, officially bringing the multiverse in play after Marvel teased the fans of it for a while. We should mention that there will be spoilers up ahead, and you've been warned. And with that out of the way, let's continue.
If it lives, it dies. So I'm gonna kill the shark. I'm gonna kill Elias. And I could use all the help I could get.
Soon after the Season 1's finale dropped on Disney+, MCU fans joked that Doctor Strange would be watching all of this in despair. Now yes, the TVA will help out, but it will be Doctor Strange himself who will probably have to sort this whole mess out and stop the multiversal war from happening. The title itself of the second movie tells us a lot of things: Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, meaning that the madness that Sylvie created by stabbing He Who Remains is definitely in play as of right now.
Open your eyes.
The Doctor Strange sequel has already been set to feature Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, but The Hollywood Reporter has also now noted that Tom Hiddleston's Loki is expected to appear in the movie too. So does this make sense? Well, we're going to see all about it, but before we do that, let's do a quick recap of the final moments of the Loki series. Before Sylvie stabs He Who Remains and meddles with the sacred timeline, she pushes Loki back to the TVA through a portal created on He Who Remains' tempad. When Loki tries to warn Mobius about the dangers that are coming, Mobius seems to have no idea of who Loki is.
Take it easy. You're an analyst, right? What division are you from?
What are you talking about?
Who are you? What's your name?
And we also see a statue of He Who Remains, or another Kang variant, in the TV lobby instead of a Timekeeper statue. The question right now is whether Loki is now in a brand new timeline, or if the timeline has been altered as a result of Sylvie's action. Technically, if it's the same timeline, that's not how time travel works in the MCU. As what's happened has happened, you can't change the past. However, since the TVA operates out of time, maybe it's just the TVA and anybody in it that has been directly affected, and the timeline in the real world hasn't changed yet.
The Timekeepers have built quite the circus. And I see the clowns are playing their parts to perfection.
Doctor Strange's connection to Loki.
I can't believe you're alive. I saw you die. I mourned you. I cried for you.
I'm honored.
To start things off, it's easy to see Loki being useful to Doctor Strange in the sequel if it's about stopping the multiversal war. But the issue is how their meeting comes about, as the timelines don't quite match up, even if Loki still is in the main timeline.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
You can handle it from
The Loki we've been following in the series is still from the Avengers era, long before Doctor Strange even made his first portal in the MCU. So if Strange needs help, it seems like he's more likely to be looking for help in the TVA itself rather than going for outside assistance. As for Doctor Strange and his knowledge, Loki is actually dead. So he's hardly going to look at the chaos and think it's the god of mischief himself who's causing it. Even Wanda hasn't really had any connection with Loki to make her reach out to him. It's possible that Doctor Strange is already aware of the TVA and that he knows to go straight to them, thus happens to run into Loki, but it could also be that Loki unwittingly makes Doctor Strange aware of his existence.
Who are you? Loki. You think you're some kind of sorcerer? Don't think for 1 minute you second-rate.
All right, bye-bye.
Going back to the Doctor Strange mid-credits scene, he meets Thor and tells him that Loki is on his watch list of individuals and beings from other realms that may be a threat to his world.
Keep a watch list of individuals and beings from other realms that may be a threat to this world. Your adopted brother Loki is one of those beings.
A scene that plays out in Thor Ragnarok, which reveals Loki is briefly trapped in a never-ending portal. Of course, this wasn't Loki from the TV show, so he probably doesn't know that Doctor Strange is not his biggest fan. And it could be that in his efforts to help, Loki would end up back on Earth through his work for the TVA, and as a result, Doctor Strange reaching out to see what he's been up to. We should mention that Loki's appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is still speculation, but many things that have happened and what are about to happen point out that it's bound to happen. It might happen, there's a high chance of it, the two meeting. There are ways for a connection between the two, ways that would make an absolute sense in the MCU timeline. However, we still can't see the God of Mischief hanging out with his Sorcerer Supreme. It would probably be best to assume nothing, especially when it comes to the MCU. Continuation of his story. Tom Hiddleston's Loki is reported to appear in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So far, we've talked about how he could connect with Stephen Strange. What are the ways of the two meeting each other, with a solid purpose of course, but what about Loki? How would he fit in the whole thing, and what would his story be about his existence, and to be precise, which version of him would this Loki in the Doctor Strange be? Right from the start, there's absolutely no question that Season 1 of the Loki series makes a lot of sense for Loki to be part of the next Doctor Strange solo movie. The ending says it all. As for the upcoming movie, it's setting up to be a major event for the overarching storyline of the MCU's Phase 4, as many of the franchise's movies and shows are now dealing directly with the ramifications of a full-blown universe. But why is Loki returning, and what role would he be playing in all of this? Over the course of the MCU, many times over and over, the multiverse has been alluded to, and as we said before, the Loki series actually brought it up. In the season's finale, it was revealed that the TVA and the Timekeepers were created by a variant of Kang the Conqueror, an effort he made to keep the other versions of himself from destroying the entire multiverse through inter-reality warfare. With He Who Remains, a version of Kang killed by Sylvie, the multiverse reopens, and it is coming together with the possible mass chaos that is about to unfold at the hands of the other far more villainous Kang variants. Given the fact that the sequel will be dealing with this chaos, the title says it all. It makes perfect sense for Loki to return. After all, he's been part of the whole process the whole time, right? He'll probably be searching for Sylvie, not stuck in his new altered timeline, a timeline in which a new Kang variant has taken control of the TVA. Feeling great remorse, Loki will probably join forces with Strange and Scarlet Witch in his endeavors through the multiverse. One other possibility is that Hiddleston could be playing another Loki variant in the sequel, and not the one we've seen through the MCU. As we previously mentioned, for the Loki series getting a second season, Loki's story in Doctor Strange would probably wind up being a sort of middle act for the character's current story, an intermission of sorts between the two seasons, a bridge for the God of Mischief himself, connecting the dots along the way, making a name of himself, and finally doing a good deed that would benefit himself but also the others around him. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below what do you think about Loki's presence in the Doctor Strange sequel and what his role would be, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.